So, Bob Iger himself came on stage during Apple's keynote presentation of the Apple Vision Pro. And the first thing he showed was Star Wars. And I couldn't be more excited about it. So let's take a look at that part of the presentation. So it started with him commemorating that Disney was eager to team up with Apple for this new platform, because not only is this a big year for Apple, with the first time in many, many years that we've heard the words "one more thing" on stage. So it's going to be huge because this year sees the introduction of the Apple AR glasses called the Apple Vision Pro. But for Disney, this is also a very important year because Disney celebrates 100 years of existence. And so for Disney, with this Jubilee, it seems like a great way to establish themselves as one of the first big content partners of Apple on this brand new platform. So the first thing we see, of course, is the iconic Disney castle. And then it goes on to show us a bit of the token magic that Disney is part of. And, what better device to show off this magic than this magical device? So then immediately we get to see that we are able to watch Disney Plus on this new platform right from the get-go. In fact, they already show us some hints as to what this Disney Plus app may look like inside the operating system of the Vision Pro. So if you put on your Apple Vision Pro glasses, providing, of course, that you are able to get a hold on those and you have the money to pay for one of them, we'll get to that in a minute, this is how the Mandalorian would actually look like if you're watching it on with the headset view. So first of all, we have this screen that looks very much like an iPad, on which they are showing a sequence from The Mandalorian. It's actually the hyperspace sequence that we've seen where Baby Yoda, and there he is looking around and is just mesmerized by the glow of the stars, and then later on you will see these space whales as well. And I think it's an iconic scene that they chose on purpose because that's the kind of wonder that Disney is going for. It's the kind of magic that will enthrall you. All this to communicate that watching Star Wars on the Apple Vision Pro is going to be unlike any other experience that you've had of Star Wars before. Now, the other thing that immediately strikes me is that around the screen where you can watch regular 2D episodes of The Mandalorian, for instance, you have the projection of these additional screens with more information. So, for instance, on the right of the scene, this is the chase scene. I think that's in episode 1 of the last season of The Mandalorian. You'll see on the right side that there are some key characters. So it's like extra information comparable to what, for instance, Amazon Prime does very well. When you're watching a movie, you can always check while you're watching, who are the actors here? What else have they been in? Sometimes there's trivia projected. Well, on a lot of this extra materials on a lot of platforms, you have to click, you have to pause in order to see it. And then it will detract you from the experience of watching the episode itself. Well, here, it's much more elegant. These virtual screens are floating in, and they are showing you extra information while you are watching the movie. So on the upper left of the screen, you can see the 3D render of Boba Fett's of the Mandalorian ship. There is on the left side also a depiction of the Darksaber. It's the equipment, which of course the Darksaber is very central to season 3 of The Mandalorian. So I'm sure that none of this is real. This is probably all pre-rendered, but it shows you what Disney is going for in using this new platform to enhance the way in which we are watching Star Wars. So let's take a look at the rest of the image. So here are more of the pursuit that we see, and then the screens are moving back and forth as well. So here, right behind me, you see that they are projecting a screen with some planetary information. So now apparently we go to Tatooine, where we see R2-D5 showing himself, and then we go to hyperspace. Now this is really cool. This hyperspace effect is all the other screens are disappearing, and imagine seeing this in 3D all around you, just going to hyperspace. And then that actually brings us to something much more immersive than what was shown in the earlier part of the demo. This time, we are on Tatooine, and there is this 360 view of the planet with, on the right side, a sandcrawler. In the distance, you can see that a sandcrawler is parked near a village on Tatooine. It's kind of hard to see what exactly that is. That could be Mos Espa or whatever. So it's on the outskirts of a settlement on Tatooine. The suns are setting, and of course I'm saying suns because we see two of them. All of this is rendered in 3D, in beautiful CGI. And when they showed us this, I was like, why? You know, is this part of what they hope to offer us on the Apple Vision Pro? I would love to have that immersive experience. I've had similar Star Wars experiences on the Meta Quest. I am the owner of the Meta Quest 1, not 2, unfortunately. And they did have some Star Wars stuff there. So they've always been eager to hop on the bandwagon of VR. This is the first time that we see them trying something of a much higher quality level. So I would love to be in these worlds of Star Wars. And here, actually, they show you that you're sitting in the chair of a land speeder, which immediately made me think, what if this is Star Wars Drive-In on Tatooine, and you'd be able to watch any Star Wars movie or episode as if you were in a drive-in theater, but on the planet of Tatooine or any other planet? How amazing would that be? And then the demo actually shows the virtual person looking around. And then first of all, you see you get a better view of the sandcrawler on the right. There are some more land speeders parked, which again makes me think they're going for a drive-in theater on Tatooine. And then the whole atmosphere is changing. It's almost as if someone fast forwards through time, and it gets dark. And then the suns have set. You see two moons there on the left. And you see another settlement on the left as well. This may actually be the Lars and Owen Beru homestead where Luke Skywalker lives. And then in front of you, projected, I assume, on a gigantic screen. Of course, you don't get that impression when you're just watching this on a 2D screen during the keynote presentation. But all of a sudden, there is Baby Yoda. There is Grogu. And he is in the cockpit of Din Djarin's ship looking at the marvels of hyperspace. And you see that the screen itself is reflected on the outside of your land speeder, making it super immersive, because I imagine that this is not just 2D. This must be 3D. So you're inside this 3D environment watching an episode of The Mandalorian, and it is as if the screen is right there in front of you, and it's enhanced, of course, by all these reflections. And then they show that you can, during the projection of that, you can actually look around, and then it immediately warps back in hyperspace. And that was it. That was basically the extent of the presentation, at least the Star Wars part of that presentation. But this made me think about the potential of this technology. What if in the future we will be able to watch any Star Wars movie in 3D and being completely surrounded by it? Now, of course, this is not yet there because we have, of course, 3D versions of all the 9 Star Wars movies and probably also of all the other Star Wars movies. Actually, I think did they ever do a 3D version of Empire Strikes Back? I know that there was a very good 3D conversion of The Phantom Menace. I know they've been experimenting, and of course the sequel trilogy, those are all being redone in 3D. It's all post-production 3D, but of course that technology has made a ton of progress over the years. So I can totally see this. None of the presentation of Bob Iger hinted at this, but it seems like such an obvious thing to do, especially because earlier on during the WWDC presentation of the headset, they showed that you could watch Avatar in 3D. And, well, if Avatar, of course, is also on Disney+, if that's going to be in 3D, then I think Star Wars is going to be in 3D as well. Which makes me super excited because I thought, and we all thought, that 3D was dead for Star Wars, that the only way to experience Star Wars in 3D was in the movie theater. And I kind of miss being able to watch the 3D versions of those Star Wars movies at home. This is the technology that will bring back Star Wars in 3D to my living room. And then let's think a little bit further than that. What about creating Star Wars content specifically, immersive content specifically for this platform? What if Disney is actually working, and I don't know, I'm just assuming that if they can render an environment for you to sit in while watching 2D content, then the next step, maybe in a few years from now, would be to create content that is actually so immersive that you are there inside this virtual volume. You know, they're using the volume to film Star Wars stuff. But what if they can create something as immersive, but then for this platform? I couldn't be more excited. What if, for instance, they could offer the same kind of rides, the experience that you get when you are at Galaxy's Edge. Is it Galaxy's Edge? Anyway, so the Star Wars section of Disneyland, Disney World, there is an immersive factor of being there in real life and walking around there, seeing everything in 3D. I think they could totally bring to a device like this and sell it at a premium price. Now you have to pay a lot of money to go to Disneyland and Disney World to experience this. But what keeps them from offering these high-level, high-quality experiences for a platform like this? I mean, I don't even think that they should have to give it away for free to anyone who is subscribed to their Disney Plus service. I think they could just sell it as an experience on its own, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans would probably pay for that. I would. But of course, it would be cooler to get it for free on Disney Plus. I'm not hinting at any extra extortion of money from my pockets, but hey, I'm just saying, if money can be made, Disney is probably gonna pursue it. But to wrap things up, this could be a major opportunity for Disney to bring 3D content, immersive content to Star Wars fans, to Marvel fans, to basically fans of any of their franchises. And so I'm not surprised that Disney is there on day one. And, well, I cannot wait for them to air, for instance, to do a live stream in 3D of the next Star Wars celebration. Not everyone is going to be able to travel to Tokyo in Japan for the next one, but I would definitely want to pay for having a live 3D stream, like a 180-degree stream of the next Star Wars celebration, because it would save me so much money. I wouldn't have to go to Japan. So there are so many things that you can do with this platform. We're going to talk about the price. We're going to talk about the technology behind that in a different video. But right now, I think that for Star Wars fans, exciting times are ahead. The only thing I need to do is somehow win some betting game, so Lando can give me all his Imperial credits so I can buy this headset. Or maybe I can just buy it secondhand from a couple of Jawas. Anyway, let me know what you think. As always, love to hear your thoughts.